what we've found is that Coco, the darker one, she's a very confident, especially being in a new place. It's probably because she's very excited because it's quite a big place to explore, and she's got the freedom to come and go. But Bosley is they're sort of semi-bonded in the sense that they're not aggressive to each other. However, it's like he's sort of playing sort of hard to get, and I think it's because she's so confident. He's lost a little bit of confidence, and he's trying to obviously be the resident rabbit. Because we've found in the few that we've had since '06 that the one who normally is the newcomer usually ends up being slightly submissive, even if only just slightly. So when we go and stroke them, the newer one usually sits back and almost waits their turn. This is just what we found. We're not experts, but we've had a fair bit of experience, and we're always learning. And but it's tricky. This bonding is going well. It's just going in like lots of segments, and it's actually quite interesting because he seemed yesterday. I mean, this is obviously showing the 9th. It's the 10th now. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're finding that he's going. She'll go up and sort of kiss him, lick him wash his face and kiss him on the side, as we call it. And he'll let her for a certain amount of time, and then he'll run off, almost like as if it's on his terms. So it's tricky. Then sometimes he will climb on top of her, and sometimes they do this circle, trying to get on top of each other. Then he'll just run off really quickly, and usually sort of goes down into there and waits there for her to come out, and then he would sit here and she'd sit up there, and they would just sort of look across at each other. I think they're just working out each other's boundaries, because they did play a little yesterday as well, chasing each other, where when one jumps up on the peat box, which will have grass when the spring comes, they sort of spin round and put their paws out as if to say, "Come on in," that's almost in a play sense. But when he does try and get on top of her, sometimes she lets him, sometimes she doesn't. And obviously, when they bite grab these tougher fur, if she's not having any of it, quite rightly, I suppose, she'll sort of almost throw him off, and then so he's not used to that. The last two rabbits, sorry, the last rabbit we had, Poppy, I wouldn't say she was submissive, but she just was an older rabbit. She just couldn't be doing with it. So he's not used to having one so energetic, which I think in the long run is going to be good for him, because someone who can keep up with him, he can chase and be chased and play games. She's kissing him there, and he's not necessarily always kissing her back. He does a little bit sometimes, and she'll push her snoz under his as if to say, "Come on, my turn now." And he won't do it always. I mean, he's starting to do it now, but and then in a moment, whether she just sort of hits a spot that he's a bit shy or sensitive on, because I think he runs off in a second, and then she sort of looks as if to say, oh, okay, but she doesn't seem that bothered about it. She just goes off exploring, and so she's very sure of herself, very confident, which is unusual, but it's sort of quite refreshing. He's feeling a little bit overwhelmed, probably because it's only been 2 weeks since he's lost Poppy Girl. And he didn't run off then. So what time was that? That was 4 o'clock. Yeah, so it got a little bit better then. But even through the night, because I stayed up probably till 2 a.m, it got to the point where he would. Sometimes they would just sort of bump into each other, and then one starts running, the other one starts running. It's almost like a fight or flight response. One runs, the other one sort of runs off and sprints. So he's been quite a bit sort of on edge or nervous or just in a heightened state, which is unlike him because he's normally very, very confident. But by halfway through the night and this morning, that had changed. They're actually finding their balance now, which is really interesting. In fact, this morning, in the small hours, it was about 4 a.m. I think I noticed that on the inside, in the food area, they were actually necking, so like both kissing each other's cheeks, washing each other's cheeks, so grooming each other. So, and that was a first. I've not seen that, and to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting that soon. It's only happened once, but that's quite. See, look, she's sort of kissing him now, and he's letting her. But at this stage, yesterday, he wasn't really reciprocating, and he'd like run off and then come back, and so yeah, it's actually quite interesting. But she seems quite happy. I think he's got some sort of strategy. I will ask Marwan at Cottontails her opinion on this, but it's something I've not seen before, so it's quite interesting. But she doesn't seem that bothered. She's just... See, look, that's his favourite box to sit in, so he's feeling a bit territorial, maybe a little bit territorial then, see. So they're doing this, they're trying to get on top of each other, and then he runs off. Now, whether that's for her to chase him, because he does like being chased, and Poppy couldn't really do it because she was quite a bit older than him, bless her, so... Or whether he's just playing hard to get, which we have read about recently, almost like it's a strategy, because initially it was his place. He wanted it to be on his terms. That's what is that the case? I don't know. It's quite interesting to find that out. But they haven't been fighting or punching each other up, so they're just sort of working each other out at the moment. So I'll see if I can find another clip. So here we're sort of almost 5 o'clock now, and occasionally they go up to each other and they, she'll try and kiss him and then he'll just let her, or then they go off and do their own thing. So she's pottering about, he was washing and so forth. So let's move on. So here we are, nearly 5:30 yesterday. Now I've taken it back to this bit. I think in a minute she goes down on the floor. That seems to be, that's always been his spot. It's one of his favourite spots, and that seems to be her favourite spot. So sometimes they just watch each other. So she's obviously trying to sort of find area. So she's gone down and she's trying to give him some attention. So yeah, so he's turned around. Oh yeah, he's giving her a bit of attention there. Oh, bless him. So he's giving her a little bit there, but and then he just sort of stops. It's almost as if he's trying to sort of, I don't know, he's getting a bit more there. I think in a minute, if I remember rightly, he moves off. She's been so patient with him, because she's sort of literally just, come on, it's okay. And sometimes I don't know whether she's just got a bit that's, to be fair, his ears on occasion can be a bit sensitive, because he's got this sort of ongoing condition that we have to treat his ears for sometimes. Well, that hasn't been too bad lately, but he's not a lover of his ears being touched. But normally, if another bun is grooming them, he's not probably too bad. I think he's literally quite ticklish there, but so she's giving him quite a bit of attention there. And again, he's not reciprocating as much as she's giving him. What are we on now? Oh, 5. Oh, see, look, he flinches there. So whether that's some sort of playing hard to get sort of strategy, sort of no, that's enough on my terms, which I think it might be, just something we've read recently. But again, I'd be interested to hear more experience. Oh, so no, do you know, I missed that yesterday. She's done a binky. That's always a very good sign that Coco's very, very happy with their new accommodation. And you know, we were worried of being her an indoor rabbit that she'd get cold, but you know, she's been upstairs. The upstairs is literally insulated, like silver insulation. It's really nice and warm up there, you know, especially for a hutch. It's all like closed off. Loads of hay and straw in it, nice bedding. Yeah, she spent most of the night out there. I mean, it wasn't cold, it was 8 or 9 degrees, but with a thick coat, she was quite happy. She kept on going in and out and in and out, you know, because, again, that's not unusual. If they've never had that, you can come and go in 24/7 at your own discretion. Sometimes they just keep going in and out because they can't believe it. Right, I'm just going to find another clip because that one's gone on a bit now. Let's just pause this for a second. See, that's interesting because sometimes when she just gently bumps into him, because he's a little bit skittish, he just bolts. Like that. And that was a bit of a playful come and chase me, I think. And that's just based on some pairs we've had in the past that have liked to play chase with each other. See, look, she's put her chin under saying, "Can you groom me?" And now she's just given him some, and then she's gone off this time. So that's interesting. It's almost like, I don't know if it's some sort of strategy or whether she's just being patient with him. Right, now that's us coming out to give them their tea. So this is the first time they'll be eating together. So I actually brought out 2 separate portions just in case Bosley wouldn't come in. That's obviously Coco recognising the rattle of the pellets. So she's obviously had that before, which I was quite pleased about. Actually, the dinner bell, quite literally. She's really excited, look at her. Bosley realises that her excitement is not fear. So he's wondering, oh, it's tea. Oh no, he's gone in there first. That's unusual. We go straight in. So She's not quite sure where to go, is she, for tea, which is understandable because it's still all new to her. So will Bosley go in? I think you can't hear the sound, but I'm got to just keep rattling and keep showing it to her, and I think she's worked out. Oh, maybe it's inside. Yeah, they're quite clever, aren't they? And because Coco's gone in, Bosley's thinking, right, am I going to miss out on something? I think I'd better go inside as well. So she's gone in and started eating, because we actually tip it all out here, because quite often we found rabbits just tip the bowl, it goes everywhere anyway, so because it's more natural for them, their neck doesn't hit the edge of the bowl, so when it's near the bottom, so we always tip it out because they like to forage and search for it. So here comes Bosley's coming in, he'll be coming down here any second. So he comes down, there's no squabbling, and yeah, they ate fine. Bosley always would sort of stop partway through because Poppy used to do it, so maybe creature of habit, and he'd have a little rest. He'll come up on the shelf or go on his pee box, and then which is where they go to the toilet, and then he'd go down or have a little nap, and then he'd go down and have a little bit more. But Coco, she just kept on going. And they're both probably very hungry because they've had a very busy day. I'm just going to stop it there for a moment. So that's 8:15, just gone. So, and this wasn't unusual. They'd be out together or they'd be separate, which, you know, even the bonded ones, they like their own space. We were thinking at one point, should we have cut off the run so they're just in the indoor enclosure? Might have speed out the bonding, but I don't like to do that, because if the run's cut off, sometimes Bosley would get a bit anxious. So let's have a look. Let's move it forward a bit. So they've swapped now. He's gone out, she's come in. So that's interesting. That's 20 past. So this is where they did this for hours. They'd chase each other, or maybe she would go up and kiss him, and she would, or she would bump into him slightly, or go up to him, and he'd bolt and go under his little cave there in the tunnel, but it would always end up the same. She would go up to her place that she's chosen to be her spot, and he goes back to his spot that he's always had. That's one of his favourite places to sit, and just stare each other out. So yeah, interesting. But again, I mean, we found that some of them literally fall in love so quickly, and they get all, you know, within a few days, and others it takes a couple of weeks for them to get to that point where they become sort of inseparable, and the point where, you know, he'll be snuggling with his chin across her back, and it's a trust thing. They're building trust, aren't they? So, but they're cohabiting quite happily. At this point, as you can see, he's actually, well, we know Bosley really well, and he was a bit sort of, all his senses very heightened, sort of, I don't know about nervous, but sort of on edge, fight or flight. So whether that was just him being sort of prepared for any sort of bonding sport, but by the morning it was a lot more balanced. Stretch. What's that? 4 weeks to 9. Another sort of peace offering. Go on, I'm giving you a bit of kissing, grooming. Can I have some, please? But he's just letting her do it. And then he'll fly off in a minute, which is, we think it's because he wanted it to be on his terms. Oh, that was interesting, I think, because she went to sort of maybe groom his side, and because he's not 100% used to her yet, he was a bit what was that? Or is it please chase me? Or is it playing hard to get because he wants to be being the resident rabbit? Oh, I need a slow motion thing on this. Now we've got both rabbits that do warp 9. So he's gone in for finding out some last little bits of tea. There's Coco drinking some water. That's sort of 11 just gone. He's out there chewing the edge of his box, which he loves doing anyway. He's quite happy. And then what are we now? 23, is it? Yeah. So just gone 20 past 11 at night. Both quite happy. Washing, sitting together. She's eating. So again, the trust is building. But as she sort of barges past him, sometimes he does he's a bit a bit flinch because he's not sure what she's going to do. So it's still early. This is obviously at the end of the same day. But she's giving him attention there, which he's obviously enjoying. And then he stops. Does she want to play? Does she want to mount him? Does she just want to sort of try and encourage him to give her attention? So he goes off. And he always runs down into his tunnel. That's the route. He always comes out. He comes down there, comes back out here. Usually, here we are. That's Bosley's route. Always chewing the box. So yeah, his confidence is sort of coming back, trying to sort of assert himself as the resident rabbit. It's nearly 2 in the morning. Coco's just come in from the run. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just nice warm inside that and upstairs in the hutch, but she's still quite happy to be outside. Loves the fresh air. When you go and stroke her though, she's still very warm. I've obviously gone back out again. I forget where she is now, hasn't he? Oh, she's behind you, mate. I think I was getting ready to go to bed at this point. Let's have a look. Where are we? 155. So, and he's gone to their respective places again. Just sort of flicking forward a bit. 5-minute lumps, 10-minute lumps. This is 20 to 4 this morning, and she obviously went back out at some point. She absolutely loves it out there. It's bizarre, isn't it? Absolutely peeling down with rain, but we've got clear corrugated sheeting on the right run, so apart from the tiny little drip in between, they do stay dry. And it's quite low. See the wall behind there, and it's quite sheltered, so they don't actually get a lot of wind. And he's on his sport shelf, as we call it. It's a little shelf they like to sit up on. So he's quite happy. And I think she goes in a second. And I've got a feeling that they have a little snooze after that. Taking their time. I should be knackered by now. They're both very, very fast rabbits. It's been, I think, probably 2 lots of bonded rabbits we've had since the pair before that, that were sisters.